Welcome to A Recipe Reborn, featuring your favorite foods from Final Fantasy XIV. Hello, my name is Lemon Drop, and I recreate dishes by combining real-life culinary inspiration with the in-game recipe, description, and thumbnail. If you're into 14 and food, please subscribe and click the bell for a new episode every Tuesday. Today I'm making tomato pie. I recently found some beautiful and delicious heirloom tomatoes, and I wanted to do something special with them. When I have nice tomatoes, I usually make a salad. And when I was young, my dad grew tomatoes in our backyard, and we often ate them in sandwiches. Tomato pie never came to mind until last week. The description says this recipe is a Gridanian delicacy, and the tomatoes are arranged to give the appearance of a flower garden. You can see I took that quite literally. Now, Gridania is all the way over here, but if we look closely at the source of the ingredients, they all come from Lenosha or Thanolin. It's wonderful to imagine that Gridanians held these imported ingredients in such high regard to create something so uniquely tied to their culture. After all, Gridania is the home of the botanist's guild, and this pie looks like it was grown in these flower beds. I'm starting with the crust since the dough needs time to rest. The butter goes in the freezer to firm up while I combine the dry ingredients. I'm using pastry flour today, which I don't normally bother with, but I wanted to keep the Gridanian mindset and imagine that they would make fine and fluffy flour with imported grain. The butter goes directly into the flour mixture, and if you prefer, you can do this in a food processor. Next is the water, and I'm pressing it together until it just barely forms a ball. This goes into the fridge to rest while I prepare the other ingredients. The rosette garnish is made of the tomato skins, so I'm peeling them carefully to make one long piece and then rolling it from one end to the other. I know it looks fancy, but fortunately it's not too difficult. Peeling them also means there will be no tough skins left inside the pie. I'm surprised at how convincingly real these look. Now I can slice the tomatoes and I'm going to roast them to evaporate some of the liquid and concentrate the flavors. These go into the oven for about 20 minutes. While the tomatoes are baking, I'm rolling out the dough, transferring it to the pie plate, and then tucking in the edges. This piece of parchment paper goes inside so I can put in my pie weights, which will keep the bottom of the crust nice and even. Dried beans will work as well. I'm baking this for about 40 minutes. I want to make sure the crust is fully cooked but not too brown, since I'll be baking this again with the filling. Now that the crust is cooked, I can layer in the fillings. I had some Oka cheese left over from last week's episode, but any mild flavored cheese will work, like Swiss or mozzarella. I want to leave room for the tomato flavor to shine, so nothing too strong. Now I have to address this rollin' berry cheese dilemma. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that berry cheese doesn't sound like it would fit in this pie, so as an experiment, I'm trying it out using this cranberry cheese. After all, who am I to judge the fine cuisine of the Gridanian people? Next are the onions, and if you're concerned the flavor will be too intense, you can try soaking them in water while you prepare the other ingredients. I'm basically doing this freeform at this point. There's no wrong way to layer these ingredients. I want the top layer to be cheesy, so that's what I'm finishing with. For some extra pizzazz, I'm decorating the edges with some more colorful tomatoes. This will probably be the last time before next year that I have tomatoes that don't taste like cardboard, so I'm going all out. This goes into the oven to bake for about 40 minutes. And that's it. All that's left to do is garnish with the tomato rosettes and basil leaves. So what is the verdict on this unique flavor combination? The berries are not super noticeable. The cream cheese is really nice, and I like that the berries make it a little tangy, but since there's way more tomato flavor in this pie, it almost falls in the background. On the bright side, the overall flavor profile of this pie is basically pizza. We're talking about dough, tomato, basil, and cheese, and the moment it went in my mouth, my brain said pizza. Which is a good thing. Who doesn't like pizza after all? It's interesting to get a familiar flavor in a different shape, form, and texture. It's also really funny to imagine that Gridanians used these ingredients to create this recipe. Tomatoes are from South America, and both wheat and basil are from Asia, so it's not so different from how pizza was created in Italy. For the full recipe and instructions, please check out the link to my website in the card at the top of the screen and in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week for another recipe and another episode.